Welcome to another episode of Markets Dawn Europe, an audio podcast on financial markets for European-based professionals. A minimalistic solution to the information overload in mainstream and social media. This is what you need to know today.
Good morning. Today's main story is a sharp rally of 11% at the open for mainland Chinese stocks, following a week-long holiday, and the subsequent loss of strength, as the briefing by the NDRC disappoints. The CSI 300 index eased to a 6% gain, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng is plunging 6%, driven by a sell-off in property stocks. Investors were expecting additional stimulus measures to those announced a week ago, to revive the economic slowdown, but the NDRC showed less urgency to expand the stimulus, and failed to convince markets. The chairman of the NDRC said that Beijing was fully confident that China will achieve its 2024 economic and social development targets. Among the measures announced today are the issuance of a 100 billion yuan investment plan, an urge for local governments to allocate funds to projects, and an increase in subsidies for students. Goldman Sachs raised its forecast on the Chinese equity market and sees another 20% appreciation in the next 12 months, on the back of last week's news. Other Asian equity indices are down between 0.5% and 1%. The yuan is having its worst day in 15 months, down 7% to 7.06 against the dollar, and remains flat this year. Base metals are falling, and Brent is down 1.5% this morning, following a strong jump yesterday. Wall Street stocks ended 1% lower on Monday, driven by the crisis in the Middle East, that is pushing oil prices higher, and the expectations for a smaller Fed rate cut, after the strong labor report on Friday. The VIX Volatility Index hit a one-month high, and closed at 2260%. A few mega caps have fallen in the past week, including Tesla down 8%, Microsoft and Apple losing 5%. In the Gulf of Mexico, Hurricane Milton intensified to a Category 5 at a record speed, and its path is projected to make landfall near the city of Tampa tomorrow night, triggering Florida's largest evacuation in years. In corporate deals, Chevron is divesting its assets in Athabasca oil sands and Duvernay shale to Canadian Natural Resources for $6.5 billion. U.S. winemaker Duckhorn portfolio is being acquired by private equity firm Butterfly Equity for $1.6 billion in cash. Duckhorn shares doubled yesterday. Swiss luxury firm Richemont has sold its loss-making online fashion business, Yoox Net-a-Porter, to Mytheresa of Germany. Also, Norway's oil giant Equinor is buying 10% of Danish offshore wind farm developer, Ørsted, for €2.3 billion. Monday was a quiet day for new corporate bond issues, with Toyota placing 7-year senior bonds in dollars, rated A+, at a 4.63% yield. In data today, we'll get international trade figures in the US and France, industrial production in Germany, and inflation in the Netherlands. PepsiCo is due to report earnings before the market opens in New York. Thanks for your time, see you tomorrow.
Visit laconicbriefs.com to subscribe to our newsletter, including this audio podcast with an extended script if you prefer to read, plus performance tables and charts, all in one place. Delivered straight to your inbox every morning, Monday to Friday.